Hello and welcome back to our Let's Play of Factorio. I'm sorry about the confusion, but as you can see, we have just upgraded to Alpha 13. The little text message showed up. I even got an achievement. Um, yeah, the last episode, when I was trying to get to construction robots, I was trying to do that before Alpha 13, so it'd have, like, factory parts that I could just throw down in the new configuration that I'm going to use for Alpha 13. However, that led to some confusion. And three people commented on one of my videos, which was actually, no, I think four people ended up in one comment, which is a personal record. Um, Yay. Calling me out on it. So I'm sorry. I didn't make that clear, but I was trying to get a factory that I wasn't starting in version 13, but was going to make specifically to start playing in version 13. So this video is going to be pretty short, only about 25 minutes. That's about how long it's going to take to get construction robots. After that, I'm not sure if I'm going to do sped up videos. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Let me know what you guys think. Is it less boring? One thing I've noticed with version 13, I don't know if it's specific to the version, but there have been much bigger biter attacks. Vastly bigger. As you can see, they have just the entire first half of this episode is going to be me just trying to fend off biters. And yeah. I'm not sure if that's the result of version 13. I mean, I assume it is, because that's the only big difference that took place between this video and last video. But I mean, it might not be from the biters. It might just be me not realizing that how big the biter attacks had gotten from pollution. Oh well. You'll find an interesting bug. I can't make steel chests. This was a bug for imported old saves from version 12 whatever to version 13.0. And so far, this part of the recording is version 13.0. So right now I'm just kind of looking through all the research, trying to see, like, if maybe I didn't know it was a bug yet, and if maybe you needed an extra research for steel chests, maybe not. And turns out it is a bug. It got fixed with version 13.1, which was released. When was it released? Not that long ago. I mean, I want to say it was released like the day after version 13.0 came out. Let's see here. Yeah, June 29th. Last post. Posted on. Yeah, it was released on June 29th. So fix came out 2 days after release. Like, honestly, if anything, this just says how good the company that made Factorio, which I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry guys. How good they are at what they do. So I've just upgraded to version 13.1 during that little break in the video where you saw the menu flash up a little bit. That was me reloading with the version 13.1. So we can now make steel chests. Problem solved. Life is good. Except for all the biters. We are still having issues. As you can see, like the turrets before, they were kind of holding out. Now they aren't. Like, walls are getting taken down during every single biter attack, and the biter attacks are actually pretty big. So, yeah. So the biters are knocking holes in my walls, which is kind of a problem, because I don't actually have walls yet. I have, belts and things that are getting destroyed. Which is a problem, because, you know, walls are meant to be destroyed. No, they're meant to stand and support structures, but in the sense of the game, as opposed to like houses, walls are supposed to basically just take the hits for your base. And right now my base is taking the hits that walls should be taking, which is kind of a problem. Anyway, at this point, you'll see that I'm not making green science quite as fast as I should, just because I'm all out of inserters. And there's clearly a bottleneck in my green circuit, so I'm going to be trying to fix that for a little bit. Pretty quickly I realized that the bottleneck is caused by a lack of inserters. So I'm going to be making lots of fast inserters and putting them in. There we go. And now we realize the bottleneck is copper flowing into the copper wire maker, which I should have realized. I mean, that's always the bottleneck. But, oh well. Building some overflow chests for a lot of other random resources, like gears. You'll notice they now have an overflow chest. I built that a little bit ago. Idea here being, I'm gonna probably end up grabbing gears out of there pretty consistently, and what I'm tearing down and rebuilding the factory. I think that's gonna pay off. Just having that overflow. Speaking of walls, I've noticed that my stone smelter is out of fuel, and I decide to rectify that situation, only to be greeted by a biter attack. And you can see how big these biter attacks suddenly became. Like, you look at all the dead bodies, that was kind of a huge flood of biters, as a result of which I decide to build a second turret. And that biter that I might have mentioned earlier that got loose in my base, I'm not sure if it came as part of this attack or if he'd been running around looking for stuff to destroy and then just finally managed to get to the radars, but he blew up 2 radars before I even noticed he was there. And things are blown up again. Specifically walls, thankfully, this time. Now, one thing that's going to become very problematic very quickly at this point is ammo. There's going to be a lot of a pretty big ammo shortage pretty consistently, so I just dump a bunch of copper into my ammo maker. Just kind of hoping to stay ahead of the floods of biters. And this turret's out of ammo too, which is excellent because then I can just drop all the ammo that I just picked up into it. At this point, I'm just starting to upgrade all the important assemblers. The ammo assembler became very important very suddenly, so that's a pretty necessary upgrade. And now I'm just going to look at what else I have left for robotics, and I do need to do some plastic research. I don't think I actually need to make plastic, but I do make an extra chemical plant for the purposes of eventually making some kind of plastic. I'm also making a second pump jack, because I noticed that the one pump jack that I had is no longer capable of powering the oil refinery. So we're going to be putting in a second pump jack. That'll keep my oil refinery running a little faster, in theory, I hope. In practice, as well, it looks like, though it might not be running quite as well as it should. Either way, there also needs to be a better way to feed green circuits to my electric engine maker, I think. And mostly just so I don't have to run all the way down to the oil refinery to do that. At this point, I'm trying to figure out what I need for stack inserters, because it seems like a good idea to just put a stack inserter between my copper wire and green circuit production. And it looks like those 2 turrets are actually doing pretty good. And there we go. There's an overflow chest for coal. That's going to become very useful because I need to supply coal to my stone maker. and that's gonna be done from the overflow chest, so I don't have to just stand on a coal belt for a while. So there's another biter attack. As you can see, it's still massive, and I'm not really noticing where these are coming from yet, because it doesn't seem like they're coming all the way from the bottom. But, I mean, they must be. Like, there aren't any biter bases nearby. So I decided to just put up a second turret. Might as well. 2 turrets are always better than 1. 2 tongues are better than 1. Anyone listen to Yerba Buena? Anyway, I figure I should probably make some plastic and probably upgrade the local defenses because oil is pretty high value. I don't want to accidentally watch it all explode due to a stray biter. And oil is very polluting, so that's going to become a target pretty quickly. Yeah. So that's my solution for having to run, and you can see just another flood of biters run in. Yeah, that was my solution for having to run green circuits all the way down to the electric engine maker. I just throw them in that chest and have a filter inserter take them out, because they're not going to be used in the assembler, of course. That one's busy making bullets. I am going to start needing iron and copper, of course. Most of the copper's, I believe, going to get dumped into the bullet maker. Nope, maybe not. Seems like I already have a good amount of copper in there, so I'm just running around with a bunch of plates now. Let's check out what's going on with the electric inserters. As you can see, lots of pollution, and it's really hitting those bases. So that's probably where the biters are coming from. I really need to start putting up curtain walls in that direction. Sadly, there were not many trees on the start, so I didn't really get to play with that. And I don't really have the ability to just hide behind a wall of pollution-eating trees. But, you know, might as well. I finally put up that little coal chest, and I noticed that my electricity is not quite up to par. I figure I should upgrade it, but I also want to have curtain walls up before I start upgrading electricity, because that's going to create even more pollution from mostly the south, because that's where my electricity is now. So I'm going to put up my first curtain wall. And it's going to take 2 turrets, because 2 turrets are better than 1. And I'm thinking, yeah, now I could probably get some smelters in, or not some smelters, some steam engines in. But there's another biter attack that distracts me. So, and there's another one that distracts me again. I end up not dealing with the power issue this entire episode. That's probably should have, now that I think about it, but that's probably going to be part 1 of next episode. So right now I'm just running around and just fixing up a few things. Mostly post-biter things. Dropping off bullets everywhere. Yeah, sadly, this is kind of why I want to have logistic robots somewhat soon, just so I can automate the bullet making. Although, no, because since I didn't start this playthrough in version 13, I don't think I'm eligible for the achievement to, Whoa! That's what's going on. Those of you that aren't sure what just happened, if you look up at the mini-map, you'll see that there are 2 biter bases right on the peninsula, pretty much under my factory. And those are the ones that are sending all the big attacks. They also take care of a lot of pollution. Probably could have figured out that they were there based on just the amount of pollution around my factory, but I didn't. And I found them. and they are blocking my curtain wall position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turret creep them slowly. Try out some grenades. Not that great against spawners, so stick with regular bullets for now. This is not going to be great for the evolution factor, which is my next worry, because if I don't have a properly put together base by the time the pollution spawners are up, then that's going to be an issue. The worms, the big worms specifically, I basically needed to turret creep. That was a necessity. And I'm just going to take out this last spawner, toss a couple of grenades, because I've got 2 grenades. Why not? So I want to build a curtain wall which links all these lakes together. And I'm going to continue researching my way towards construction robots, of course, because what else is there to research? There we go. That's going to be part 1 of my curtain wall. The little turret. Eventually I'm going to end up filling it in just because it's kind of out there and it's not an actual curtain yet. So it's kind of a problem. Of course, I have to go back and fix up parts of my base because biters have attacked since then. Now I'm expecting pretty big attacks from the very southern bases right there. So I'm gonna basically just keep working on the curtain wall, put some more bullets into random guns. There we go. Now they're both a little bit armed, and I am, on the other hand, unarmed. But still not really a curtain wall because there's a giant opening right here. I don't expect it to be a problematic opening, because for biters to run through it, they're probably gonna go take the path of most resistance in this case, but a straight line and hit 2 walls of turrets instead of trying to sneak their way around. I don't know. Maybe there are some AI improvements in version 13. It'd be kind of cool if the biters were all just really smart and exploited holes in your defense. But at the same time, I think that kind of defeats the purpose of the biters. When I think of the biters, I'm not thinking smart. I'm thinking rabid attack dog, and I think that's what they were meant to be in this game. So they just kind of mindless hordes that do their best to destroy you as the alien on this particular world. And yeah, so I don't know if AI improvements are necessary, but assuming that their AI hasn't been improved, I just take down those 2 turrets, because these 2 curtain walls, even though they're not a complete curtain, they're gonna go pretty far towards defending my base. And during that time, a biter decides to sneak up on the fresh new wall that I just built. So I put a turret in there, add some bullets, as always. Notice I'm still using double thick walls. That's just kind of like a standard thing. And fun fact, did you know that when you shoot rocks now, they drop stone? I did not know this, so I was a little bit surprised when I just shot that rock, because it was going to be in the way of my curtain wall eventually. And it dropped a bunch of stone. And just to make sure that wasn't a fluke, eventually I'll be shooting up another rock. Somewhat soon. And now we are, seem to be going pretty good. You know, things are going well. We've got, well, the biters are still being annoying, but we basically have everything that we need to get to robotics and to get to construction robots. I mean, we've had that for a while, but now we can actually, that's actually a possibility, you know. Um, so we are going to wait for the research to take care of itself. During that time, we're just going to be doing some basic base maintenance. As always, there will be some very not fun things that happen during that base maintenance. Notice that our sulfuric acid maker is all out of copper or iron plates, so I just throw some iron in there. Of course, that means I need to grab some iron. Perfect timing because there's a biter tech coming in. I get to help out my one lone turret that's sitting in the iron patch. I'm starting to think. I looked back at the settings. I think I went with regular richness for iron and copper and regular placement, and then low for stone and coal and low poor types of research. There we go. As you can see, they drop stone. So I'm not expecting to be able to do a lot of things using just the few patches that I have right now. I'm going to want to expand pretty quickly, though I'm not really sure where I'm going to expand yet. I consider researching gates, but decide, no, I'm going to just keep rushing construction robots, which I believe is what I'm currently researching. I can't. You can definitely see this much better on YouTube than I can right now because I'm basically doing my voiceover using the little preview screen in Vegas Pro. But based on the length of that text, I'm pretty sure I'm doing construction robots at this point. Just gonna check my pollution map again. Seems like I have actually went out pretty far. And as a matter of fact, I think I see an iron patch up there. Got a small one, but there's definitely some oil and some iron up there. So that's a good thing to know. I'm gonna be expanding upwards pretty quick, looks like. Of course, I need to connect all those little lakes for my curtain walls, but you know, as I'm gonna start running out of iron when I'm setting up my new factory, which is gonna have way more than, what is that, 10 smelters, I am gonna probably end up running a train up to that new iron patch and then just shipping ore back to the main factory. I'm not sure why. I think it's easier to make a giant furnace block in my main factory and ship ore, even though it is much more efficient to smelt ore on site and ship plates. So that's something I thought about doing, but then I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think it's just easier to not worry about smelting on site. Even though it might be more efficient, just because then I have to make little mining outposts that are even bigger because just to accommodate the smelters. Now, the one thing that I really didn't want to have happen just happened, and that is a couple of biters got loose in my oil making area and just ate everything. That was unpleasant. So I'm making some new pump jacks. I'm also gonna fill in this wall because that is the likely culprit from whence the biters came. Sadly, I can't quite make enough turrets to cover it completely because I'm out of copper. So I'm gonna go grab some copper while I'm making pipes anyway. And I'm going to drop a second turret there. That's gonna finish covering the wall, and hopefully my oil is now secure. It should be pretty secure because there's a turret covering the entrance to the stone. And at this point, I am going to slow the video back down to regular speed because we are about to finish doing research. So with that, this is going to be the end of the episode. It's a short one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, do all those fun YouTube things, and get ready for the next video. An interesting little glitch for when I'm trying to do logistics research up here. Notice how the research button is normally visible, but when I click on the logistics thing, it's off to the side, so I can still hit it, but you can't fully see it. So yeah, be aware of that, and I will see you later. Bye!